This must be at least the third video I made on the same topic. But it's just too frustrating that both the left and the right are wrong about trade. Even this creator I really respect was repeating this tired argument that globalization destroyed America's union jobs. That's such a classical correlation-causation fallacy. When two things happen during roughly the same time period, it doesn't mean one must cause the other. They can totally be caused by a third factor. Let's say your bike hit a rock and fell, and you stuck out your arms when you land and injured your wrists. And you're like, if I didn't land on my arms, my wrists would be fine. Therefore, sticking out my arms was the wrong strategy. No, my friend. If you hadn't stuck out your arms, you might have broken your freaking head. The fall already happened. Your action in response to the fall was not the problem. Free trade was something like that. It didn't cause the US factories to become less competitive. It was a response. A response to what, you might ask? It was a response to the fact that developing countries started to be able to make things. After the World War II, especially when the Cold War cooled down in the 80s, the world simply became more peaceful, so poor countries could catch some breath and start building schools and infrastructure and get ready for manufacturing. Just look at the numbers. The literacy rate of the world doubled in just a few decades. When you look at this graph, how can you expect the US factory workers to be as competitive as before? It doesn't matter what trade policy you have. There's no way for an American worker who earns $20 an hour to compete with a Bangladeshi worker who has exactly the same skill set but earns $5 a day. Global trade and globalized specialization were policy responses to that new reality. They didn't cause it. Landing on your arms didn't cause your injury. It was a response to the fall. The US was not the only rich countries that responded that way. They all stopped making clothes and furniture. What are the odds that they all made the same mistake? IKEA made their furniture in China, not in Sweden. So why don't they try to make Sweden great again by rebuilding the factories there? That's not how it works, man. This kind of explosion of knowledge and skill can't be stopped. Okay, high school diplomas are simply not worth as much as in the 60s. It's water under the bridge. You can't make high school diploma great again. Well, unless the US military goes out there and bombs all the schools in other countries. But that's not a viable option, is it? You guys do understand that bombing schools is not a viable economic policy, don't you? Okay, what about tariffs? Some of y'all are like, oh, what if we stop those cheap products from coming in? That's okay, you can do that theoretically, but a few problems. First, you can set tariffs, but you can't force other countries to also set tariffs against each other. They are still trading among themselves. Let's say you stop the cheap socks from coming into America and keep making socks locally. Okay, employing millions of sock workers. Good. But soon other countries will realize, if we buy socks from America, I'll have to spend 30 times more money than buying those from, say, Vietnam. Since I'm not an idiot, I'm not going to buy those socks from America. You know what that means? It means millions of American workers will be stuck in an industry that has no export potential. Well, good thing is that they don't have to worry about college tuitions because they can just make socks. Life's so easy, right? But if the majority of a country's labor force is doing manual labor, where is the tech investment going to go? So here's what would have happened if the US had failed to participate in globalization. Number one, you'd have to buy $30 socks. Number two, you would not be able to export much because you're making stuff way more expensive than your competitors. Number three, you would not have a labor force that adapts to the new tech industries because everyone would be making $30 socks. The American workers' tragedy is not a policy tragedy. Well, the bad health care maybe, but the dropping wage of the blue-collar jobs were not caused by policy. It was caused by increased number of literate workers around the globe. There's nothing you can do about it. The toothpaste doesn't go back. You either develop a skill that people in poor countries don't have, or you have to compete with those who earn a few dollars a day. There's no third option. Finally, a quick point for you guys to sleep on. So if trade barriers are a good thing, why aren't different states and cities impose tariffs against each other? You know, blue states, red states, they hate each other. Why don't they restrict each other's products? Tell me.